Okay. My first time doing this, so bear with me for sure. I hope I'm not lagging because I feel like that might be the case. Um, but yeah, welcome. Hmm. I hope this is actually working over there. I feel like everything set up correctly. Okay, we are here. There's a bit of a delay. Hmm. Okay. Can you hear me? How's the audio? Yeah, I think there's a bit of a delay with the actions. Um, this is not ideal, but yeah, okay. I'm just gonna go ahead anyway. So first things first, I'm just gonna be going over the weekly outlook and then leave room for questions. So first thing I like to do is look at the economic calendar just to understand what we are going up against, like if we have FOMC, if we have any red folder news reports. And for this coming week, Monday, we have the Empire State Manufacturing Index. It's more like yellow folder. The market doesn't really move much when the report comes out. The big one we should focus on is Wednesday, where we have core PPI and FOMC. Market's going to be waiting for the Fed Chair Powell's comments, especially regarding this war and how it impacts the rate cuts coming up this year as well. And then Thursday, unemployment claims, and then on Friday we have nothing. So with the war headlines and FOMC this week, I feel like we're still going to see some volatility in the market. So that's that's it for the economic calendar. If you have any questions, I will be answering them at the end of the stream. I'll leave time for questions, but for now, I'm just going to go over the weekly outlook, what I'm seeing on SPY, QQQ, and the names I'm watching. But I'll leave time for questions, no worries. So for SPY, I I feel like this week will be very tricky. I know people are calling for a lot of sales, but I feel like we might spend a lot of time inside this 662 range and 683. We closed at 662, and the 200-day moving average that a lot of investors pay attention to is just right below this 659 gap fill level. I actually don't pay attention to indicators except the 200-day and 21-day moving average, and once they're really close by, I pay attention. So as you can see, this is the 200-day moving average in yellow. I don't think that's good on the eye, so I would make it a brighter color so that you can see me. And okay, let's just go with purple since I really like purple. So the 200-day moving average is at 658.60. So typically the market tends to bounce around there. So my thought process coming into the week is if we start off lower, we could see a bounce off this 200-day moving average, and we could then see a move up to potentially fill this gap at 676 before FOMC on Wednesday. So that's what I'm watching for. If we do fail that 200-day moving average, the next level I have or area of interest is 653.09 and 650. Oh, you can't see. Oh no. Okay. Um, let me fix that. Let me fix that. Sorry about that. Just gonna remove this. Sorry. Oh no. This is my first stream and it's not going. Can we try it up a little? Yeah, I probably can. Okay. Can you see now? No. Hold on. I should have done a test run for sure to make sure everything was working. This is kind of embarrassing. Oh, there it is. I feel like there's a lag for sure. There's a lag. I would have to fix it. My apologies. There is a lag on like the video using OBS, so yeah, I would have to fix this afterwards. I'm so sorry. Yeah. I guess I'll just record a video to. You know what? I have an idea. Should fix it. Is it better now? Yeah. I think there's a. I for sure think that there's a lag. For sure, there's a lag. Okay. Um. Yeah, cause it's not even like I'm watching it and I'm seeing that it's kind of lagging. Mino, are you able to see now? Just give me a thumbs up if you're able to see. I'm just glad it's only two of you here. Like, okay, okay, I guess that I promise to fix it for next week, so that it's smooth. Mm. So as I was saying, if we fail this 200-day moving average support level, it usually acts as a support level. If we fail it, um, could end up coming down up to 650 at the bottom. I don't know why the edge of my trading view is not showing, so at least you can see the charts. Okay. I would just move on to QQQ. I'll go through it quickly so I can move on to question and answer so that I don't have to deal with the charts. Okay, as for the QQQ, ugly looking chart, it actually actually spent a lot of time chopping around and in consolidation. And as you can see on the weekly time frame, lots of wicks and rejections to show that sellers were really present. And last week we saw that happen. So coming into this week, QQQ is basically just hanging on and on its last legs, I think. So we have a gap fill at 590. If we fill that gap again, and you can see the 200-day moving average is sitting right there, so potentially we'll see a reaction. Once it gets to that point, we could get lower, fill that gap, and then reverse, but I don't really trust any upside moves yet on QQQ until we get above 604. Doesn't mean that you can't like scalp on the days where lower time frame trend is um, bullish and to the upside, but I don't see a sustained upside move until 604s, and then we'll potentially fill this gap at 607.73. This is annoying. I don't like the way the chat is looking on this stream, but yeah. That's it for QQQ. I have Nvidia is my next stock that I wanted to talk about. Nvidia has an event, a conference starting Monday till Thursday, so we'll probably see a lot of wild moves on this chart. I am looking at the 1 hour chart. I actually want to see how this live looks. I might try it. Sign up on my phone. Okay. So, for Nvidia has events coming up this week. So we potentially see a lot of moves on this thing, but I'm not really interested in longs until it breaks above 188. Like I said last week, and what did it do? Like it spent a lot of time in this range. It pushed higher to test and then ended up failing. To show you that there's no real long upside setup until 188 breaks. Now we closed at 180.26 on Friday. As for this name, I just see more downside until 177s, like around 177.39, which is where the 200 day is. And as you can see in the past, we've always had strong reaction. We had a strong reaction March 2nd when it got there, and then March 9th. Now let's see what happens when if it actually gets there and if it holds this time, because now people have seen the trend that it likes to hold the 200-day moving average. Let's see if it holds it this time. If it doesn't, it has room down to like 174.64. If 174.64 breaks on Nvidia, you see 171.89 gap fill level. That's what I have for Nvidia. And the next one on the list is Tesla. Tesla. So Tesla has a big move coming up if it sets up nicely. Just pay attention to how it reacts around this area of support, 181.40. Once it fails, there's room down to that gap fill to 368.80, which is from like September 2025 when Tesla had that strong push higher, as you can see. So what else? What else I have to say on this thing? I'm not interested in Tesla until it's above 401.11, and then it will potentially hit 407.86 to fill that gap, and then let's see what happens there. But the main move on Tesla where people would most likely profit is the failure of this 380.40. Would it happen during New York session open? Maybe. The way this market works, we see a lot of overnight moves uh, happen uh, lately. So I don't know. It would be nice if it happens during the New York session so that we can trade it, but I'm not so optimistic. The last name I'm gonna watch before I start taking questions is Apple. Apple closed at 250.12. I think Apple has room down to 245, which funny enough coincides with the 200-day moving average, which would most likely act as short-term support. If it fails, then you have this strong higher time frame support of 243.42 on Apple. And if that support fails, 240. But again, I'm not too bearish coming into this week because we have so many catalysts that could send us to the upside in the like within the next 2-3 days. So I'm looking for this move to happen later in the week or maybe next week, really. But Apple, you can start to look for longs cautiously if it can hold above 256 for this 4 points move to fill the gap at 260.81s. That's what I have on Apple. Last name is AMD. But I don't really like this name is back to trading like absolute shit. Excuse my language, but um, if AMD fails 188, there's room. There's room down to like, yeah, this gap fill right here at 164. This can be a nice swing trade when the market has started confirming the sells. This is not something you just jump into and buy maybe weekly option contracts because you will find out if you do that. So this is a long term, like maybe a month long swing trade that you can do on AMD to target this gap fill. But then AMD is back trading like it was early last year, where like there's just no direction. Look at this. For the past 2 month and a bit now, it's not done anything. Absolute nothing. So I won't touch AMD until it gets really above 220. That's my thought on AMD. I haven't touched this name in a minute. I tried buying calls on, I think, what day was that? It was Wednesday, Tuesday or Wednesday, and I accidentally bought puts on it. Funny enough, look at what happened. So I am going to now start answering some questions. If you have any questions, now would be the time to ask them, and I'll be happy to answer any questions from my videos or anything you don't understand. Sorry about the lag. I will do my best to fix it for the next one so that's better. It depends. Anywhere, option contracts. Typically, I'm sizing up, so my normal size would be anywhere from like 6 contracts on like SPY, QQQ, um, which other names are cheap? Apple, more like 10 contracts because they're cheap and it doesn't really move that much. Tesla, one or two. And then I just try and hold to capture more of the move. Um, yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome, Speed. But right now in this market, even with like SPY, I'm trading four contracts, 3 to 4, just to protect my downside. And because the VIX is high, because the VIX, when the VIX is above 25, usually option contracts get really expensive, and then if you're wrong, you lose more quickly. Kind of have to understand how options works before you trade options. If not, you lose quite a bit. You trade one. You trade one out of it depends. So if the best way to explain it is to maybe go to SPY. I basically trade. I pick the strike price that is $1 away from my target. That way, as it gets um towards my target, like there will be like a delta expansion, and then I can profit more, and I can also protect my downside. It's how I try to balance so that I can manage my risk. I'm not rich yet, so I I had to find a way, especially with a small account, to manage my risk. And losses used to annoy me a lot when I'll take unnecessary losses or um, not manage my downside. Maybe take two trades, and then one red trade will wipe away more than half of those gains. So I had to spend time understanding options. I don't know if you got that answer. I really appreciate the people that tuned in and stayed to the end. Y'all are real ones. Cause yeah, I didn't expect it to be this complicated. Um, but now I know, and I would fix the lag so that it's smooth going forward. Yeah, yeah. How how am I feeling trading when there's so much volatility going on? That's a good question. I think the last year taught me a lot with the tariffs and how the market moved a lot during that period. And I was still trading like one to two contracts at the time. And knowing that I have finally like grown my account to the point where like I can either reduce my position size and just be more selective with the trades, and I'll be okay. That's that's what's really helping me. Um, but I feel like once you've been flogged and dealt with by this market, and you've made your fair share of mistakes, that at some point you wouldn't want to continue doing the things that hurt you or like trigger you to like go into revenge trading mode. Yeah, it's definitely not easy, especially trading options. It's not easy. Um, there's a video actually, Speed. There's a video on my channel. I think it's the thumbnail has clueless to trader. I think you can watch that video. My journey. I started I started investing and just buying stocks back in 20 towards the end of 2019. I was still in school, a student, and then COVID happened, and then my friend taught me about options. I won't even say he taught me because he was also clueless as well. He was also clueless as well. He just mentioned options, and I looked into it. I went on YouTube. I saw Umar Ashraf, at the time when he was still uploading frequent videos, talk about options and how he would be making like 100K and stuff. I couldn't believe what I was seeing, so I just started to dive deep into it, learn learned how to apply it with my investing, because I'll buy like long dated options. I wasn't necessarily like day trading it at that point. And then in 2022, I started to day trade options with a very small account, which I recommend people do. Is because you lose money, you make mistakes. It's better to have that like use a small account that would not discourage you along the way. Then I took a break from trading. I had a personal family thing that came up that I just couldn't trade and be successful at it with all that was going on. And then last year, 2025, I started like documenting my journey, trading options again. So that's a quick summary. That's a quick summary of my journey. Um, uh, do you always wait for the retest in order to enter a trade? Yes. I don't like to buy breakouts. Like I yeah, that's one of the first strategies I tried and I was horrible at it because with how options work when you buy the breakout, you're buying expensive premiums. So if it does pull back, even if that trade is going to work, you say you brought the breakout. If when it pulls back, you're going to lose some premium. And then if you're not used to like dealing with the swings, say it loses premium of like $40, and then you're panicking, oh my, like was I wrong? Maybe yeah, you were right, but then it would then have the retest. The retest gives you an opportunity to buy cheaper premiums. Yeah, so the retest allows you buy cheaper premiums, especially if you're trading options. You can buy breakouts if you're just trading the stock and stuff like you sure you still be profitable, but if you're trading options, you need to the re buying the retest allows you to get a cheaper premium, and then you then scale as the trade works in your favor. No, I didn't start earlier than 2 p.m. I was even worried I was slightly late by a minute. James, how many minutes do I usually wait before entering? It's not about minutes. Uh, yeah, 2 p.m. EST is 7 p.m. Island. That's correct. Hmm. Do you enter right at the retest? During the retest, there are a few with time you know which ones to to avoid speed. Uh, if you can show me an example, then that would be more like helpful for for me to answer that question. Sometimes it's not always a hammer candle. That's the thing. I know in my examples I use the hammer candles. I think I'll make a video showing where like a hammer candle might not form, but based on how candlesticks form and you understanding how candlesticks form, you'll be able to gauge the strength of if buyers are present or not. What? Wait, is is Ireland on a different time from British time? Do your time conversion. because because I know that North America just moved clocks. So that's probably why. Oh, that's what's happening with you, James. We moved 1 hour forward. That's why. I started right on the time where I said you can't be telling me you can't be telling me where when I started. Like I don't have the time on my end. Yeah. Don't worry, it's gonna be saved. I don't know because this stream wasn't the best. I had a lot of technical issues, so it's okay. I'll be transparent and honest and always show the rough parts. So when the streams start looking very nice, I'll look back on this one and just laugh. Do you have any more questions? Lizzie, did I answer your question? I know that you and Speed asked the same question. So um yeah. Entering the 5 minute opening range, do you still take trade if it's particular? Most people will not like my answers, but I don't care about pre-market high and low. The only time I use it is when like I use it to gauge when not to trade. So if I have pre-market high, pre-market low, and it's inside the previous day's range, and price is trading inside that range, inside the pre-market high and low levels, I'm not taking the trade. I'm not going to touch it. James, don't worry. Next week, I'll do it again because the live stream wasn't the best. Like I didn't I didn't do a test run, so there was some lag. There's still some lag, and some people couldn't see the charts. I'll do it again next week. But yeah, speed. I don't take the trade if it's between pre-market high and low. Also, context matters. Like if it would be like an hour long session to be able to provide all the possible scenarios of when not to take a trade. I think that should be a good video. What do you guys think? Because I feel like with education, a lot of people share, okay, when do you take this trade, this strategy, but some people don't share when not to, because there are instances where you wouldn't take the trade. I think my most recent video touches on this a little bit. Because it can look really nice, but like if you have a higher time frame level there, yeah, if you have a higher time frame level, um, just above your 5 minute opening range high, you're not going to take the trade, no matter how beautiful the setup looks, because that's how they trap you, and then use you as liquidity to push the trade to the other side. Okay, I would, yeah, I'll make the video. Yeah. All right. I think I'm gonna end it here then. Thinking about doing live trading. Um, until I figure out this YouTube lag. I don't think it will be in anybody's best interest. yeah, maybe on YouTube or I don't know. Zoom might be the best, but I have to have a community for that. Yeah, I don't know if people are interested in that, to be honest. These lives I'm trying to keep them around like 35 to 45 minutes, depending on attendance and how many questions. Not too long, just so I can conserve my energy. Yeah. But yeah, regarding live trading, I have to think about it. I have to think about it. People that run Discords like go through it because a lot of pressure. People are watching you and depending on you, and you have to like make sure that you're able to offer the best service as possible. But if there's demand for it, sure, we'll figure out something. Um, Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate you all. Buisa, Speed, James, um, Mano, Crown Luff, everyone that tuned in. Sorry if I missed your name, but I appreciate. Yeah. See you next week. Holy. Okay, I kept people though. 5 minutes.